Hello, Lehigh Ethics of Nationhood students. My name is Dr. Mike Logan. I will be your instructor for this course. Nice to meet you. I look forward to working with you this summer. I'm excited to teach this class. Um, it's called Ethics of Nationhood, and I like to think of it as a philosophy course that asks an ontological question about a topic, in this case, nationhood. What is a nation? Uh, and we're going to go on the premise that if we know thoroughly what a nation is, and not just what it is, but what it has been and what are the origins of a nation, and we think deeply about the essence of what we mean when we really talk about a nation or a people or a state or a nationality, right? Ethnicity. What are we really talking about? So the better we understand what a nation is, the better we will understand what our responsibilities are to our nations and to each other. All right, so that's what ethics of nationhood is about. Now, all I'm going to do today is just tell you that I have the course set up on course site. All 6 weeks have been demarcated, and I will be adding a thing or two to them, maybe pictures and little things here and there, but all the readings and all the main writing assignments are all mapped out for the 5.5 week course, and they're all right there on course site. And you can just go through them at your own pace in this asynchronous class. And don't forget, I'm going to have an office hour every Thursday that's going to start at 11 a.m. and go till 12:30, so that you can ask me things in real time about the readings, or just let me know if there's any problems that you're having. Or you can just talk to me about whatever you like too. Just stop by and visit if you want. If you do visit office hours, please just do me the courtesy of letting me know if at all possible, and as accurately as you can when you're going to be there. If you don't plan on really being there till 12, you might want to let me know. And that way I won't miss you if I'm sitting here by myself with my laptop during that Zoom call. Um, right now, since the class is asynchronous and the Zoom call office hour is entirely optional, it might well be the case that I'll be, in a fortress of solitude there during those times, but that's all right. I still want that to be available to you. Um, Now, this is just a little introductory video that I'm making just to tell you a little bit about what this course is, and I already told you some of that. But let me just show you a whiteboard here so we can situate ethics itself within the larger discipline of philosophy. So hopefully you'll be able to see this well. And I'm going to pull out a pen here just in case you can't see my cursor. But um, philosophy is, of course, the major discipline and the master discipline of all the disciplines, actually, and for good reason. It is divided into four major branches, which are metaphysics, epistemology, logic, and axiology. And I hope you're able to see that. Uh, I'm just trying to share this. Any collaborators? Okay. Um, Yeah, well, people with access to this call can see the whiteboard. So, okay, hopefully you can see this. Philosophy, it is divided into these four major disciplines, which are metaphysics, which is the study of reality, epistemology, which is the study of knowledge, logic, which is the study of the structure of the truth, and axiology, which is the study of action. Now, axiology is the study of action. That's divided into two major divisions. One is actions pertaining to what we make, and the other is actions pertaining to what we do. Now, actions about the things that we make, and thinking about the things that we make is aesthetics, right? Making things that are good. Now, ethics is doing things that are good. Now, both aesthetics and ethics have the same goal of wanting to bring about goodness, right? So, Axiology is the philosophical thinking about what actions do we take to make what things that are good? How do we create things that are good? So art, creativity, architecture, building things, anything that's an art in the broadest sense of the word, that's aesthetics, right? Aesthetics is an art word, obviously. Um, Ethics is a law word and it is a goodness word, it's a religion word, it's a morality word, it's a philosophy word, it's a thinking word, it's an action word, it's a word about virtue, about heroism, courage, justice, honesty, integrity, um, reliability, respect, um, all of those things, consistency, wisdom, prudence, all those virtues. Right. So ethics is important. And it's a major branch of axiology. It itself is divided into sub branches. There are normative ethics, which is where you're basically making using ethics to make rules for people to normalize their behavior, to make people conform to something and make things normal, to normalize things, and that's normative ethics, right? Applied ethics is where you're applying ethical thinking and philosophy to um, moral problems, such as um, um, let's say war or human rights problems, immigration policies, pharmaceuticals, moral problems like human reproduction, things that tend to present us with moral problems like, I said pharmaceuticals, but addiction, right? Things that are problematic, for which philosophy might help us. And, it's often true that, people turn to religious philosophy or philosophical practices like, say, Buddhism, a kind of mindfulness mentality, um, as a way to treat their addiction and to make it a big part of their recovery. Ethics. So, and that's applied, all of that is applied ethics, applying ethical thinking to moral problems in the world. Um, um, yeah, in order to solve them. Ontological ethics is understanding what things are. Ontology is asking what is and what things are. What is justice? What is uh, architecture? What is information? What is meaning? What is time? What is existence? What is a book? What is a work of art? All these ontological questions, first order philosophy questions, and they're all along the lines of, who am I? What are human beings? What does our existence mean? Where are we going? Is there an afterlife? If so, what does it look like? All these are metaphysical questions, and they're ontological questions about what is and what exists, and the reality of things. So knowing what something is, um, and what it derives from, what are its origins, that's the kind of ethics that we're doing. Ethics of nationhood is understanding what nations are, where they come from, what do they derive from, what are they built on, what are their foundations, what a kind of philosophical and cultural and governmental and material things need to be there to support a nation. Uh, and the better we know and understand these things, the more wisdom we will have about our national ethics. All right. So it's not going to be a preachy class, and we're not going to, you can talk about nationalisms, or you can talking about the way something like nationalism will make people behave sometimes. You may write about those things in your papers. You may bring up those things in the writing that you do. You may ask questions like that at any point that you wish to during the course. But my thinking is that we are going to look at the particulars of what nations are made of, and that's going to be our political science. We're going to be following the Aristotelian edict to think about what is really existing, and we're going to do a survey of ethical philosophies and that deal with statehood and nationhood. Early in the course, Aristotle, Thomas Hobbes, and in the middle, we're going to read Alexis de Tocqueville's famous writings about the then new United States of America and what it meant to have a confederation of states and to have that kind of new um, multi-state constitution in 1776 and thereafter. So he wrote what he wrote in 1830. So when America was a very new place, still only a couple decades old, really, and the Constitution was still a new thing. After that, we will read a couple more modern 20th century writings by theorists of nationhood, sociologists, philosophers, historians, Ernest Gellner and Anthony Smith, most notably, wrote about what we might call, in very general, sort of reductive terms, a modern theory of nationhood. And then after that, in the 1990s, a postmodern theory of nationhood. So we'll look at those things closely when we get there in the course. Um, I tried to keep the readings minimalist, since this is summertime and you might be wanting to do other things besides take this course. So I tried to really get to the most important passages in the books that you have on the reading list. Um, so then you don't have to read the entire books, of course. So take a good look at the syllabus so you know exactly what's expected of you and what you need to do well in this class. Okay, I'm going to take down this thing. Now, what to look for next week? We'll be reading Thomas Hobbes next week. I will be giving you a glossary of terms, so you have your first sort of grounding in the knowledge that I expect you to take away and to bring with you to the final exam and to study for the final exam. So you'll have a glossary of terms with their definitions that I'll give you next week. It will contain all the terms that I just gave you on the little map of philosophy that I provided in this video, but and also new terms that have to do with nationhood, terms like confederation, constitution, um, what is a state, what is a nation, what does sovereignty mean, things like that will also be on that first glossary that we look at next week. Okay, if you have any questions, please email me or call me or text me or however you'd like to get in touch with me. My email is milb23@lehigh.edu. I'm going to write that into the chat here just so you have it for sure. Um, I'm a relatively new faculty member here, so I have this milb23@lehigh.edu. That is my email. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with me for any reason. Uh, okay, there's I would like to hear from you, and I'd be very happy to help you however I can. All right. Welcome to the course. I hope you enjoy the readings and enjoy the activities. I put some pictures up. Some of them are meant to be funny. They're all meant to be really just decorative and supplemental things that they're not anything that you need to study or research or find out facts about or anything like that. Okay. If they are, I will let you know that and I'll be very clear about that in the assignments. But basically, the assignments are going to be questions about the readings and you answer them week to week. So you read the stuff week during the week, and then by the end of the week, you write the answers to the questions. Now it's asynchronous, so you don't have to do all the assignments by the due dates that I put on there. I put them week to week if you want to follow along like that. But you can do them later. It's asynchronous, and that's up to you how you want to handle that. All right. But take a good look at the calendar and make sure that you have a grasp of, the time frame of everything in an asynchronous course like this. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the course again, and let me know if I can help you out. Okay, Dr. Mike Logan, nice to meet you. Bye-bye.